Good morning, Mike. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you. Getting ready for Christmas, so it's all good. Thank you.
Nice, we're almost there. So I just want to
Yeah.
start off by starting the questions off with you describing a typical day as an account director.
Oh, okay. So what I really enjoy about my role is that there's not really such a thing as a sort of a typical day. We're itinerant, and why I've been doing this for a long, long time is that each day is very different. So there's routines within the day. So there's admin days and things like that, but the next day could be like I'm going to see customers or going to see my accounts, or we've got internal calls and days as well. Um, so yeah, it's really varied, but there's routines within it, and it's something that I really enjoy about it. That it's not just sort of 9 to 5 clock in, clock out, and also meeting a lot of different people as well. So, but I also enjoy some of the the sort of admin days and putting packs together and formulating plans and strategizing as well. So it's really difficult to answer and sort of is there a typical day? But yeah, it's really varied and it sort of keeps me on my toes and yeah, with customers, you never know sort of what might pop up in the next day. So yeah, it's really rewarding in that sense.
That sounds great. Sounds like a very dynamic role. And in this role, of course, what are your most rewarding experiences in your position as an account director? I can imagine there's certain experiences that have really stuck with you and made you feel really proud of your role.
Yeah, I think for context as well, I joined Worldline. It feels like a long time, but it's only been a very short tenure. Only about 2, 3 years now. Um, so when I came into the business, and there was a lot of change going into that. But what I felt really happy with was that actually my leadership team gave me a really big account to start off with. It was one of the biggest. It was a grocery retailer that started, and we won that business in sort of 2021. And I was asked to sort of lead that, so the migration of that over to Worldline. So I was asked to look at the accounts, onboarding, make new relationships, and also get involved in the contract part of it as well. So it was a really sort of steep learning curve. But to be asked to do that was really, it showed that they had really confidence in me, which was really great. But it also helped me to learn as well. So I was mixing with internal teams, project teams, finance, legal, senior leaders within our business, and also with the customers' business as well. And the contract would it took a long time. Don't get me wrong. We're two behemoths of businesses and companies together, and it took over sort of about a year to get done. But once it was complete and the ink was sort of signed and the ink was dry, it was a good day for all of us. And yeah, we shared in a really positive moment then. I was really proud that I was able to do that. And again, also in a very short space of my career at Worldline.
That sounds great. It's always best to just get straight stuck into your role whenever you start a new role. Of
Yeah.
course, your account director, you must be leading on some really big accounts, and there's always some conflicts and agreements that can occur with clients. How do you go about handling this stuff?
Yeah, I think working in payments, I think we're working with technology. Um, I think sort of conflict is probably the strong word. We have challenging conversations, definitely,
Yeah.
absolutely. There's always going to be sort of bumps in the roads, things that aren't quite, that aren't quite as how expected and how they were. But what I see in terms of my role is not necessarily when things are going right. It's actually when it is those elements of having those disagreements or conflicts, as you say. Um, it's good for debate. I enjoy those conversations because I think what I try to bring it back to is how we, and again, I'm a very sort of process or driven person as well. So I'll always bring it back to the facts. I'll always bring it back to, what was the root cause or why are we so apart in terms of our conversations, but always ensuring that we have the correct processes in place. Talking to clients about having the right sort of roles and responsibilities so that we have that baseline so then we can move on from there. But it's always good to have those conversations. And actually, that's an integral part of my job. My responsibility is to be able to stand up to those and have those. Because if everything was going well, I don't think I'll be in the job. But these are things that we do on a day and a weekly basis. That's how I see where I fit into this business.
Great. And you described your process. So I was just wondering, are there any key strategies that you use to retain the key accounts?
I think it's a mixture of a lot. I think each business is very, very unique. Um, and I know there are probably some similarities between certain sectors and how they want to move into the future. Payments is very competitive, really, really competitive, and there's very little between a lot of our competitors, definitely. And we can talk about innovation and talk about things from a high level about strategies, etc. But I always try to bring it back to relevance. What does it mean back to them? There will be some certain companies that will want to err on the side of caution when it comes to innovation. We talk about these things like innovation and new products and things like that. But if it's not relevant, then I'm not doing my job because I don't understand my customer. Um, what I like to do, and I've done it a few times now, is sort of go back to the floor with some of the bigger clients as well. Understand that the people are on the ground, on the cold face, that are actually using the services that we provide, and understanding like, what problems do they see? Because obviously, when the noise gets bigger, we can sort of nip it a little bit easier from the start. I also like to use, and I think it's within the COVID world, and also how social media is built up as well, is listen to a lot of social media, look at a lot of social media as well, try and cut through some of the messaging through that to bring it back to is it relevant, is it right, is it truthful, and where I want to be is that trusted advisor for my clients, for our customers. And so it may not be something that directly relates to a payment, but it's something that may influence that. And to have that knowledge and to base it on that and those conversations on that, I think is really key. So that's how I sort of see and want to fit in when I talk to my customers.
Okay, that's really interesting. And lastly, could you give us an example of a challenging project you manage and how you navigated through it?
Um, I'm probably going through one now. So we talk about the before about my initial ask from my leadership team about this, the grocery retailer. So we're
Yeah.
going through the implementation phase and the project phase at the moment, and there are so many people involved, and I think some of that becomes really disparate in terms of how we manage the process. But I always try to ensure that we've got good teams working together. Um, we have proactive communications all the way through, and we've got to prioritize in a ruthless way in terms of what are key milestones that we need to hit. How do we manage that? And as part of my job is trying to liaise with not only internally but also externally with our customers as well to try and get to the points that they want to get to. Um, yeah, so we're going through, and there are a lot of parties involved in this particular one at the moment. And sometimes unnecessarily, there are calls I've been on where there's like 60 odd people on. But I sort of take a step back from those ones and try to go towards the senior people within that and just understand, is it going right? Is it how they want it to um, in terms of the project and how it's working? So there's a lot of managing. There's a lot of sort of for me to try and lead them to where they want to get to, and trying to cut out some of that noise. But we're getting through it. By the next year, I think hopefully we'll have some positive news on that, and we'll get through that part of it as well. So yeah, no, it's a good project to be involved in. Definitely keeps me on my toes.
Okay, great. Well, we're looking forward to hearing more about it soon.
Sure.
That's all from us. Thank you for taking your time out to share your insights and talking to us, Mike.
It's been an absolute pleasure, and thank you for affording this time. It's been great just to have that conversation. Thank you.